I'm feeling it. No, seriously, I'm feeling it. What am I saying? Hey dolls, it's me, Wilma Fingerdoo, with the Fingerdoo review of RuPaul's Drag Race All-Stars 10, Episode 5. And I am joined by my illegitimate drag daughter, Ms. Wilhelmina Boxfire. How are you, Wilhelmina?
First time meeting me, I'm doing just fine, Wilma.
Well, we got a lot to talk about. There's many things, but before we get going, I think that it must be said, Jorge, drink me! Oh, what is that, Jorge? Ooh, a fruit punch for pride? Is that what it is?
It's very offensive, Jorge.
Is that all right? Oh, yeah. Thank you. Oh, I get the orange one this week? Is this the roofied one? Oh. Apparently it's a crapshoot who got the roofied one. Well, that's punchy.
Fruity.
Yes. There's several things to talk about before we get started. First of all, I would like to draw your attention to our Pride background. We'll be displaying this for the month of June to celebrate Pride. Larda Souza designed this. You can get this on cups, t-shirts, whatever, one stripe, but I thought I would go for the shower curtain motif, where it's just a big rainbow full of cartoon Wilmas.
I love that you're decorating your entire apartment with shower curtains now.
It's the easiest way.
Everything is a splash zone.
But the other shower curtain's actually in the shower.
Yes.
I also want to thank this week's tip producer, Chrissy, Chris, Raxadoodle, Chuck, and Not a Nightlight. Thank you all so much. If you would like to leave a tip or two, well, there's a YouTube thanks button just below the screen and my OG PayPal link in the description box down below. Speaking of the description box down below, I also have a link to Beauty Moon Cosmetics, where my fabulous palette is still on sale. Well, not on sale. It's for sale. We're actually going to have to do a third restock.
Gasp.
I know. It's very exciting. So thanks to all of you who have purchased this little beauty. If you haven't, I have
probably ugly.
Well, don't say that. I mean, less ugly if you have this, but it's not a miracle worker. It's just makeup. But there's a link down below if you'd like to get yourself one of these. And, of course, this is the Pride palette, so month of June, celebrate Pride. I'm just saying. Well, there's a lot to talk about this week. Well, mostly just one thing, but it's a lot to talk about. So let's get to it. I don't know how this episode could have got any gaggier because it started off jumping off the cliff. The rest of the episode was really just me seething in disbelief and anger at the shenanigans. But for those of you who haven't seen the shenanigans, the queens entered the workroom fresh off of last week's Lip Sync for Your Legacy. And we had Lydia with 3 points, Tina's Burner with 2, and then the 4 bottom queens all 0. So they had to give each other a point. Well, right out of the gate, Mistress was just like, well, we're Brookses, so we'll switch, and then you and Georges and Carrie will switch. And she seemed to be in charge.
A clan, yeah.
And that, right away, I would have been like, well, she's got a lot going on. And the minute NPB picked up her badge and offered it to Carrie Colby, Mistress kind of lost her mind a little. She got a little like, no.
We're not Brooke sisters. It's not sisterhood. It's not family.
So, like an old fool, easily intimidated, NPB decided against giving her badge to Carrie, which, clearly
she was right there.
I would have snatched it out of her hand.
I'm not stretching.
Thank you. But no, she then said, oh, all right, Mistress, here you go. We're Brookses. There you go. And then Carrie switched with Georges, which they seem to have already planned on doing, and that's all fine. The Texas girls, the Brooks girls, everyone seemed to be getting handled. And then Mistress said, well, keep it in the family, but you're not a Brooks, so she handed it to Georges. Now, I wasn't so surprised by that.
No one should have been surprised by that.
No, but what surprised me was Georges doing Carrie Colby dirty by handing her point to Mistress. Now, here's the thing. I am so disappointed in Georges. Mistress, who cares? I don't pay much attention to her. I'm not surprised that she's evil and conniving. That's all she has on her side. So none of that, but Georges could have not given her point to Mistress.
Yeah.
And handed it to Carrie, which would have put Georges in the lead with 2 points, tied with Tina. And then Mistress and Carrie would have had 1 point each. But no, she not only gave her point to Mistress, but screwed Carrie over. And that's the thing that shocked me the most. Like, that's when my mouth dropped. I was like...
Yeah, I wasn't expecting anything other than shenanigans from Mistress, but I was so disappointed in Georges.
Yeah.
And then the fact that they just showed them just laughing like a pair of tits right afterwards. I'm like, okay, yeah. I guess it's
And Mistress tried to justify, well, I don't like being in the bottom. It's like, well, who does?
Who does?
The bottom line is it's a contest.
Yes.
Was I impressed by the sheer evil genius of it all? Absolutely. Absolutely. Would I have done the same thing if I were Georges? No.
No.
Because I would have still had 2 points.
Yeah.
Georges took the evil genius only to Mistress's level. She could have reinvented the evil genius, had 2 points, split them, and then watch. What's Mistress going to do? She might get mad at you, but what's she going to do?
No, I mean, if you don't want to play the game, then don't play the game.
Don't play the game.
Yeah, if Georges was smart, she would have given that point away, and then that would have made that whole scene
enjoyable,
palatable.
Yeah.
Because then Mistress tries to screw someone over and then gets screwed over in the process. Yeah. That would have been delightful. Yeah. I would have been fully on board.
I'm sorry that Georges wasn't smarter than she is, but she's 24. Yeah. Mistress is 25 though. Like she's not much older. She's only 25. Like this is the thing. She looks like she's 40.
Dog years?
Maybe. I don't know. Years? I don't know. I don't care. I don't
Martian
care enough to look it up. But my favorite part of all this though had to be MPB's face. The minute Mistress handed her point over to Georges, the gaggery of it all, so funny. I was less impressed when Carrie did the same thing, because that was evil shade. But Carrie pulled it together a lot quicker.
Yeah.
And seemed less bothered by it. She's like, okay, I see how it's going.
Yeah.
All right. Also, Carrie Colby is a sweetheart. She conducts herself in the workroom, on camera, on Drag Race, beautifully. And she's above reproach. And I think that for her to get caught up in Mistress's evil plot is unfortunate. But shame on everyone. They should have known. They
should know better.
Yeah. When Mistress said, you give me yours first, I was like, don't do it.
Don't do it.
Don't you
do it. You in danger, girl.
Yeah. Ooh.
You in danger.
Ooh.
It was completely unnecessary.
Yeah.
But now Georges and Mistress just have to make sure they win.
Yeah. The only thing they have to do now is just make sure they win, because no one's ever getting them a point. Like if they're in the bottom, they're screwed.
Yeah,
so and there's Tina Burner, like she was pissed off because now they're tied with her. They didn't win nothing. And I would be a little mad if I were Tina as well. But at the same time, again, it's a contest.
Yep.
At the end of the day, it's about $200,000.
Yeah, so don't give that badge away to Mistress.
Yeah, and it's all down to how you want to win that money. I mean, with $200,000, who needs friends, I think is Mistress's thinking. But then I don't think she has a lot of friends to begin with, which means what's she got to lose?
Well, you either like that energy or you find it repugnant.
Yeah, and I think some people do enjoy that energy to watch it. But when you're on the receiving end of that energy. The next day in the workroom, MPB was still bitter and angry, and she also was upset about the point thing. The thing that bothered me more was that Lydia asked how she was doing as far as her audition for being Mistress Isabel Brooks' drag daughter, and Mistress was impressed with her winning the first challenge, so she said, yeah, okay, you're my drag daughter. Now, here's why I'm not a big fan of this whole situation. It makes me think less of Lydia that she wants Mistress to be her drag mother. But what I'm hoping is, because Lydia's not stupid. Yeah. She and Georges may be the same age, but they are not mentally the same age. I think Lydia's a little more savvy than Georges is. And I feel like Lydia is cozying up to Mistress in the hopes that if there's a situation where she needs a point or something, that there's a one coming.
Oh, you think it's strategic?
I do think it's... I can't like Lydia if I don't think that way. If it's not strategic and she actually does want Mistress as a drag mother, then we can't be friends.
I think she does.
Oh, no.
I think she does.
No.
I think she loves the darkness.
No. I think she enjoys it. I think she also, by being close to Mistress, she won't get it.
That's true.
I think might be, it's not a point thing, it's a darkness thing.
Yeah, that's why we're friends. If I'm standing next to you, it's harder for you to make fun of me.
Is it? Thankfully, Ru interrupted these debating shenanigans with her ESPN message, which, as cryptic as they always are.
Yeah.
And followed by her entrance in the workroom with this week's Maxi Challenge. She couldn't decide. Did she want the queens to roast, or did she want them to rap? Why not a roast rap, or a rap and roast? Ooh.
I love a nicely wrapped roast.
Well, you got to wrap it before you put it in the fridge, or it'll just dry out.
It'll just dry out. It'll just
right
bleed
now.
on everything.
We put it on a plate.
Oh, you do?
Wrapped or not. You don't just chuck the meat in the fridge.
Isn't that what everyone does? Do you have shelves, you fancy lady?
Yeah, it lights up too.
You have a light?
Yeah.
Oh, God. Maybe I'm not putting it in a fridge. Maybe I'm just...
Is it just the box the fridge came in?
Is it just an alleyway? It's a small man who lives in it now, but that's fine.
Well, there has to be someone in there to turn the light on. How else does it work?
Oh. Well, they must be so cold.
Because Lydia won last week's challenge, she was going to be the one to decide the running order for the rap roast.
Ooh.
Mistress cozied right up to Lydia and decided that now was the time to get her fingers into the rap pie and help her decide how the lineup should go. And her advice to her was, you need to stir this up. You need to cause some shenanigans.
Terrible advice.
Yeah. Lydia, being Lydia, went around to everyone and asked them where they wanted to be. Yeah. Tina said she wanted to be first or last.
Yeah.
MPB didn't care.
She doesn't even know what a rap is.
No, so... Mistress wanted to be middle-ish.
Yeah,
so did
hiding in the middle.
So
George wanted to hide in the middle.
Yeah. And
Gary Colby wanted to be...
so surprised.
The finale.
She and Lydia worked out a little plan that if Lydia were in a situation where she might need a point from Miss Colby would give her that point.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah. This is how you have an alliance. Says, I'm going to do something for you right now. Even if Lydia got screwed over by this decision, it's not going to change much. So after a little mulling it over, with that mistress's help, Lydia announced that the running order for the show was Tina first, MPB second, Lydia herself would be third, Mistress fourth, George's fifth, and Ms. Carrie Colby sixth. Everyone seemed happy until Tina announced that she wasn't.
Yeah,
and it was such a non-committal, like, why'd you put me first? It's like, well, because you said.
She said first or last, so I put you in one of your choices. Yeah. It felt like she was trying to create some drama, but there was no drama to be had. And no one was like, no, we don't care. There's already been point gate, so any other drama is going to be far less interesting for us to view. So I thought that was weird. Just like, well, why? Why'd you do that? Why? Yeah.
Oh, are you upset? It's like, no.
Well, then why'd you bring it up?
And then there also seemed to be some kind of inference from Tina that there was some alliance between her and Lydia when nothing had been talked about.
Lydia seems oblivious to whatever alliance this is, and I still can't tell if Tina Berners is flirting with Lydia, or if she's trying to make an alliance with Lydia, or she's trying to do both.
I think it's both.
Because it seemed like a lot of. I
think if she's gonna go to the semifinals with somebody, it may as well be somebody that she's flirting with. I'm assuming. I don't know. As the queens got ready, NPB announced that she was going to paint for the gods. And her idea of painting for the gods was to put a lot of brown under her cheekbone and break out the black for her eye makeup.
That's the biggest makeup brush I've ever seen. I thought that she was using a paintbrush to put on all that dark contour.
Yeah.
I've been doing it wrong. Can I just take a roller?
Yes.
Is that what you do?
No.
You just roll it on?
No.
Just
I don't wear
press
makeup.
on face? You don't wear makeup?
No.
You don't wear wigs either?
No. It's just how God made me.
Wow, God has a sense of humor. What of God's clowns?
I also found it funny that Tina was still talking about Mistress and Georges, and then they were like, what are you talking about this for? No, we're not talking about you. And then Mistress and Georges had to defend their point strategy, and Mistress kept trying to spin it as a justifiable thing. Yeah. Well, I wanted this, so I had to do it. Did you
really? I don't understand why any of them pay any attention to what Mistress says.
No, the last thing you want to do is engage her.
Just don't give her the slightest bit of attention. Yeah. Just ignore everything that comes out of her mouth.
Yeah.
And you'll completely deflate her because she is nothing if she doesn't have an audience.
Yeah. Carrie seemed to be doing the right thing by just being congenial. Yeah. And I was impressed by that because when she and Georges were talking about what they were writing, Carrie was not only helpful with Georges's approach to it, but was friendly with her. Like there was no bitterness there. And I think that's the smart way to be. Like if you're going to be a grown-up, just, okay, you did that, all right, I won't forget it, but I'm not going to be mean to you because you did it.
Yeah, but it's going to factor into any decisions I make down the road, points-wise.
You know what we call that?
What do we call that?
An adult.
Ooh.
Yes. Mistress is only 25.
She's just a baby.
Well, she's a big baby.
Well, yeah, I mean, hopefully she was a C-section because... if her mother had to push that out.
She'd still be pushing.
I
don't know if she was pushed out or kicked out. I don't know.
Guest judge Chapel Roan showed up to kiki with the queens and let it be known that sweet Lydia Butthole had opened for her when she was in Pittsburgh on her tour.
Yeah. Actually worked with her and not part of her fan base. Joella. I'm just saying.
She's not even on this season. We're still picking on her.
Oh, God, I can't stand her.
And there was more family talk. There was more, because Carrie Colby was talking about adopting Chapel Roan, so she could be Chapel Colby.
Yeah.
People are just too willing to adopt children these days.
It's yeah. What are you, Angelina Jolie? Come on, calm down. Calm down.
You know, Madonna, you can't just go to Malawi and grab any child that you see.
Put a building up and take a child as you go. It's not a parting gift. Can you imagine if it was?
Oh, God, I don't want one.
No.
What's in my swag bag? Oh, Rutendo. How'd you get in there? Get out of this bag.
Of course, what's a visit from Chapel Roan without impromptu wig party? Tina threw on one of her big red wigs. It looked great on her. And then she left wearing it. I'm hoping that she did because I didn't particularly like that wig for Tina. But it was a fun wig on Chapel.
Yeah. It was a big fun. It was a big fun wig. Yeah.
Selfies were taken.
I would have stolen
Air kisses were thrown, and then she hit it. I would have stolen that wig too. That's a fun wig.
Are you kidding? Yeah.
And then, before we even knew what was going on, it was time to hit the main stage. Ru looked great this week. Well, better than last weekend. Anyway.
Chin and neck. Yeah. Wonderful.
Yeah. I love an asymmetrical blousing on her.
She looked gorgeous.
Yeah, the wig was great. Michelle looked great.
Yep. Another animal print, yeah.
Ross was wearing one of his sparkly jackets with a brooch.
Yep.
And there was Chapel Roan in full outfit. She looked like a blow-up sex doll.
She looks like a sex doll.
And her legs popped right up there to prove to everyone that she was good to go. I like what she wore. I love the wig. I thought that was a huge...
That was super cute. Yeah. She looked like a paper doll.
Yeah.
That you couldn't get wet.
I know.
But is going to get wet.
Yeah.
Choices.
And then it was on to the rap and roast. I loved the bass line for this.
Oh, yeah, the whole whispering rap. That was very
fabulous. Yeah, I really enjoyed that. I thought everyone looked great. Tina went first. I loved what she was wearing. She looked good. She had the red wig worked on her. It didn't smack of Tina Burner of old. It was very now and happening, and the outfit was very rap-esque. I liked her lyrics. There were a couple of moments there where she had a lot of words in there, but who the hell doesn't?
It's a rap.
Yeah.
Wordy flow.
Yeah, I thought she did a great job. I thought it was a good opening. It certainly set the bar. MPB was next, and...
I mean, you can understand her
lyrics.
She looked
great. She looked great. Let's just say she looked great. Compared to how she looked last week, she looked fantastic.
Yeah.
But during the judges' critique, she said that's the biggest wig she brought. It's like, that's the biggest wig you brought? Oh.
Girl.
It's like a toilet brush, it's like, but she looked good. She still didn't look like she had any makeup on, but she was wearing a bit more, and that onesie was fun, and her lyrics were totally understandable.
Yeah.
And she got some really good burns in. I was slightly impressed. Yeah. But she didn't move once.
No.
No, it's like, okay, go.
Either her mouth moves or her body moves, but both of those things don't happen at the same time.
Yeah. I'd vote for her body moving, towards the door.
Lydia was next, and I quite enjoyed her performance. I thought she was mean. I thought she was fun. I thought she
moved around.
She moved around. She had some highs and lows, and even her opening gaping.
Very funny. It was a great opening line.
Yeah.
The one thing I thought she didn't do is she kind of pulled her punch with Mistress. She didn't give her as much of a burn as she gave everyone else, but
that's her mom now.
That's her mom now. Yeah, there you go. Nice. Yeah. Speaking of Mistress, she went next, and I liked what she was wearing. I thought she looked good.
The whole football-ness of it all.
Yeah, with the low-riding pants and everything. Yeah, I thought she looked fun. I didn't hate her rap either, but it wasn't...
I thought it was going to be meaner. You're supposed to be the villain. I thought she was really going to go in.
Yeah, it was very middle of the road. Like, she burned everyone, but not hard.
For someone who claims to be all into diss tracks and being evil...
Yeah.
I was a bit underwhelmed.
As opposed to it being a diss track, it was this track. Yeah.
Are you sure it's diss track? You wanted me to play diss one? Yeah.
That one or diss one?
No, diss one.
All right.
Diss track.
All right, that track. All right.
No, diss track.
That track.
Diss track.
Who's on third?
This again. I don't know. No, he's on first. No, he's on second.
Oh, no one's on second. Nothing happens on second.
Stealing home.
You want
Everyone's
third base?
in the dugout hanging out with the catcher.
Yeah. Hang.
Sports references.
I don't know what any of them mean, so I hope that they were good.
No, they're terrible. Get off of my pitcher's mound.
Georges had the opposite problem of MPB. She could not stop moving. It's like every word she said had a movement to go with it. It's like it was interpretive dance. I didn't hate what she was wearing. I didn't hate the fact that she didn't stop moving, and I didn't hate her lyrics. But I was like, oh,
okay,
all right, yeah. Did she fill the brief? Yeah. Did she impress me?
And then Carrie Colby wrapped things up.
Look at you, so clever. Wow.
Sometimes I surprise myself.
Well,
yeah, she looked absolutely gorgeous. I did have to put the subtitles on for her lyrics, I have to say.
But she had the best rap, to listen to.
She had the best flow, by far. She had the smartest lyrics, by far.
Yeah.
She had the least number of burns, by far.
And she didn't name names. She was saying to Lydia that she wasn't going to name names because
Mistress knows that she's fat, and Georgia says that she's tiny, and
Tina knows she's a man in a way.
That she's old.
Yeah. That was when she said that to Lydia. I was like, oh no! You have to act like the whole audience is stupid.
Yeah. You got to point out the obvious.
Yeah, and clearly that came to bite her in the beautiful
bunches.
Yeah. One thing I will say about this rap.
What will you say?
I prefer a roast where they're talking.
Yes.
Because there was no way for anybody to rebuttal.
No rebuttal. There was no back and forth.
No, there was no way for somebody to maybe up a joke, amp it up a bit, or everything was pre-recorded. So really, even the order of the lineup was irrelevant.
It made no difference whatsoever because it was all pre-done. And once I realized that's what was going on, I'm like, oh, well, it doesn't matter where you go in the lineup then.
Yeah, why even ask?
You can't affect anything. No one else before you can affect you. Nothing is affected by the lineup. It made literally no difference whatsoever.
Production could have cut it so that the lineup would have been in a different order. It would have changed nothing.
Did not matter.
No. But there you go. And then it was time for the runway. Category is Little Shop of Horrors.
Oh, I get it.
Yeah.
Oh, I get it. Yeah. Clever.
Yeah. Tina Burner went first, and I hated this outfit.
The Stargazer Lily you didn't enjoy?
Well, first of all, she came out looking like a banana, a gift wrap banana, first of all. I wasn't sure what the heck she was wearing. And she pulled it away, and the petals all fell. And the first thing I thought was that silhouette she was wearing was almost exactly the same as the silver thing she walked in.
The pointy, the pointy bustier.
I didn't mind the Stargazer Lily. It was you knew what it was, but I didn't like where those petals were coming out of. It was meant to be the mermaid end of a skirt, but it wasn't low enough. I wish that they had come off her hip. At the widest part of her hip, it would have made for a more dramatic silhouette, I think. It made it look less like her entrance outfit. But they didn't ask me.
They didn't ask you at all. Yeah. No, I thought she looked quite pretty. I thought it was a little different for typical Tina Burner. But I thought it was too on the nose. It's like, wait.
Yeah, there was no cheekiness to it.
You're less inspired by a flower, more like trying to just dress as a flower. Lots of stamens.
Her whole reasoning for this was her mom would send her flowers before her performance saying, "You're a star, love Mom." And it was Lily's, and that's why she has lilies on her arm. It's for her mother, who recently was diagnosed with dementia. So when Tina said that when she was coming to Drag Race, she'd forgotten that she said she was doing that. It was already starting, and so it was a very emotional reasoning for it. And I got all that. I still gave her a Fingerdoo because it was a beautiful dress, but I think it could have been a bit better.
Beautifuler?
Yeah, beautifuler.
Oh. Next down the runway was George's, dressed as a very sexy little Venus flytrap.
This is gorgeous. Yeah. For somebody who's that short, she was all legs.
All legs, yeah.
Gorgeous, yeah.
It's very smart because at its heart it was just a, little bodysuit.
Yeah.
But she had some fun things on the arm. She had some fun things on the legs. She
had nails,
gorgeous.
Long fingers, yeah. Yeah, I totally gave her a Fingerdoo. I even loved the wig. The wig was stunning. The pink and green in the wig. Gorgeous. Well done, Georges. You evil mastermind.
Tiny evil mastermind.
Well, she's not really a mastermind. She's more of a minion.
She's an
evil minion.
She's not even a henchman. She's just a giggling minion.
Yeah. Don't do that. I hate that.
I hate it so
makes
much.
me want to throw up every time. Every time.
It's of all my... And I have a list of least favorite things about Mistress.
That's the first.
That is definitely on the list.
2 or 3 times.
It is on the list. It's a very long list.
Yeah.
But no. I put my foot down.
NPB was next, and I did not like this outfit. First of all, it didn't really fit her very well. It looked like it was like something plasticky cheap that you would buy off Amazon or something.
Because at first I was like, oh, well, this is something fun and new from...
The rose covering her eye, the cactus rose covering her eye was fun, but it was still very small. Like, for somebody who does drag, she doesn't do big drag.
No.
It's all about subtlety or lack thereof.
Yeah, just wants to look like a homely lady.
But when she turned around and we saw the one flower like a cyborg covering her eye, I was like, okay, all right.
She's tried.
Yeah. Well done. Good attempt. She put jewels on her lips, which I'm sure she thought was her painting for the gods. And then she took it off. And not in a graceful way. Like, this is clearly not a reveal.
No.
So why would you reveal it? It took her... I mean, it was quick for us watching, but you could tell this took a while.
It took a lifetime.
And then revealed to what?
Just a white...
Casper the Friendly Cactus.
It was supposed to represent the meat of the cactus, because people are forever talking about the white meat inside of cacti. It's a thing.
It comes up all the time. All the time.
Anyone's like, succulent.
It was far too subtle. Which is exactly why I gave her a Fingerdoo. Come on, MPB. Try harder. Or try. Just try. Somebody who did not make a poor decision. Lydia Butthole Collins. I love this outfit on her. She looked elegant. The puppet flower was absolutely shout out to Little Shop of Horrors.
Lydia too.
And I thought she looked great. Like, it was a very grown up. She made that dress, and yet I think it's one of the most symmetrical, concise outfits she's made yet. And the plant was fun. I totally gave her a Fingerdoo. Good for Lydia. Well done.
And now I'm wondering if Lydia's just taking her old wardrobe and being like, well, maybe I should make it symmetrical and not have weird openings.
She's 24.
And weird places.
If that's where she's starting to learn how to do this, she's ahead of the game. Yeah, well done.
Next down the runway, Mistress Isabel Brooks, dressed as another cactus, and this one I also did not care for.
I liked it better than MPB's. I will say this. I did like it better because it was more... I don't know. I want to say drag, but my mouth won't let me.
It didn't feel drag. It felt too cosplay to me. It felt like she was dressed up like Bowser from Mario Brothers. And it felt like she was going to some anime convention.
Yeah.
And so I was just not on board with this.
Yeah.
It was nice seeing something different from Mistress.
This was one of those looks that looked like a costume from a costume shop, whereas even MPB's, as cheap as it was, didn't look like that as much. So I'm confused as to why when somebody says that they're all about perfection.
Perfection.
That's the costume you're wearing for a plant look. I mean, she looked terrible in it. It was awful. And I hated the thing on her head, the baby hat thing, because it just made her head...
It made her look...
Like, her face looked fat and her head looked small, which I know is a redundancy. Fingerdoo, Mistress. Fingerdoo. You're not as flawless as you think you are.
No, she should have just dressed up as a green thumb, because...
Well, she's got the shape there.
She's got the right shape, yeah.
Last and thankfully the most gorgeous was Carrie Colby. This Venus flytrap, Venus on the flytrap, was stunning because it opened and there she was in this beautiful, like barely clinging to her body, purpley deliciousness, and then she walked away from it. It all fell away from her, and then the whole theme of the runway was gone because even though she looked spectacular, she looks stunning, and the red train off of her was fabulous, but none of it said plant or little shop of anything.
No, I didn't care because she looked so stunning. And if you look like that, and you're accenting it with a gorgeous tiny little jewelry as clothing, then I'm going to be on board. That's the point where I just don't care about the brief anymore. I'm just gagging on what you're presenting me.
This is the difference between her and NPB. Her walking away from her costume took seconds, and she looked better. Even though she no longer followed the brief, it was worthy of a Fingerdoo. NPB took forever, and it wasn't worth the wait. And then when she was finished, it was like, what are you wearing? Yeah. So well done, Carrie Colby. I mean, if you're gonna go with your strengths, being half naked and looking like that is definitely going to knock a few people out of the running.
She knows what her strengths are. Yeah. I love that reveal, just walking out of something.
It was so elegant. Oh yeah. Well done.
Gorge.
Yeah. So of course the judges deliberated while the queens changed into their lip sync. I always find it funny when they all change because there's clearly one or two that shouldn't bother.
NPB?
Although I was impressed with her effort this week. Like she did step it up. It just she's still not where she needs to be.
She stepped it up, but she stepped into something.
Yeah.
And then
out of that crappy costume.
Yeah. And then she was wiping it off her shoe for the rest of the episode.
Yeah. Who did you think was in the top this week? I just want to ask before we talk about it.
I thought it was going to be Lydia. And then I wasn't sure because they seemed to really be enjoying Mistress's performance. Like they kept cutting to a lot of laughter, and I was like, "Are you hearing different lyrics?"
She got a lot of laughter over mediocre lyrics. Yeah,
but I thought it was going to be Lydia, and then I thought maybe Mistress, maybe Tina Burner.
Yeah. I certainly didn't have Georges in there.
No.
But yeah, I thought the same three queens as last week. I thought it was going to be that. I would have picked Tina and Lydia again, but I would have been wrong. You would have been wrong. It was Mistress, shock.
And Georges.
Shock.
Shock.
But now here's the thing. I feel like production, because from what I understand, that whole shenanigans with the point thing wasn't just a shocker to the queens. The whole crew was like...
Well, bracket one was so just kind and genteel.
Yeah, and kind of stepped it up as they went along. I mean, there's only 3 episodes, but still, the first one, they're like, all right, we're all just getting to know this. Here we go. But... apparently, even the crew was gobsmacked by the shenanigans of Mistress and Georges. And I feel like they put them up to lip sync against each other specifically to go head to head. Now, immediately,
drama.
They both got 2 points, which meant they were now in the lead at 4 each. Lydia in second place with 3, Tina with 2, and everyone else with none. But I don't know. I felt like they wanted to because if Georges, who is the person I'm going to predict to win a lip sync just because of how she moves around, then that would have put her in the lead, and I don't know how Mistress would have felt about that.
I hope that she would have felt badly in some sort of way.
Yeah. Well, regardless of the reasoning, they were the top 2, and they had to lip sync to Chapel Roan's Hot to Go, which is a cute song.
I love that song.
Yeah, it's really
still
cute.
Not sick of it.
Yeah. This lip sync, though, was really lackluster.
I was underwhelmed. Georges looked gorgeous.
Georges looked great, and she did what she does.
She moves beautifully. I love watching Georges perform, but I felt like she could have done that lip sync to any song.
She would have made those moves.
It didn't really matter.
Anything.
Yeah.
Also, there are directions in the song on what you should be doing, and neither of them did them. Which,
Mistress did
a lot of head shaking because I guess it is tiring holding that up.
I mean, she did do one of those awkward big girl high kicks.
Oh my God, where
can we stop doing those?
Yeah.
Can we stop? It just looks.
If you have to move your fupa out of the way to do it, don't. I would have said out of those 2, It was George's.
Yeah, I thought it was George's, hands down.
Yeah. And when the music died, clearly Rue felt that as well because she announced that George's had won. She wasn't done.
She wasn't done. Then she announced that Mistress had also won.
A tie.
And that's when I realized I was watching a completely different episode than the judges were. I didn't see anything that was worthy of a double Shantae.
They never cut to the judges either, so I'm wondering if they were looking at something else.
Were they watching something more interesting or more exciting?
I don't know.
I was very confused.
Yeah, but that surprised me. They had to split the 10,000, so $5,000 each. And they had to split the point.
Normally I hate it when they have to split the money.
I know.
But splitting the point, those two, yes, neither one of you deserves a full point based on your shenanigans.
And this is where this whole tie situation between the two of them made sense to me. Because it was a production reaction to how they had manipulated the giving of the points. By giving them both a half point, they are either a half point ahead or a half point behind.
Yeah.
Now, in the last round, everyone who went on to the semifinals had 5 points or more. They only have 4.5. So very easily, if somebody gives 1 point, especially on the last episode before the finale, it'll be, they give those points on stage and they can all look and go, well, who's got what? I'm sure that those queens would rather give a point to somebody that will force both of them out of the running than give a point to somebody where it won't make a difference at all. So I don't know. I think it was very smart on Rue's part, or production's part, to give them that half point because it hobbles them a little. They'll always be a half point behind or a half point ahead.
Yeah.
I hope that it works in everyone's favor. I would rather see Georges go on in to the semifinals in the theater of my mind, but after that whole thing, I don't want to see either her or Mistress go on.
No, I'm soured.
How about you? Do you think there was manipulation, shenanigans, subterfuge? What was going on? Are you in agreement that the two queens that were in the top shouldn't have been? Or do you think they totally deserved it? Do you think that they also did an equally good job and deserved to split the... I still don't see that. I don't see Georges ever not winning a lip sync for some reason. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure she didn't go home on her season, so she has been out lip sync. But yeah, I don't know. Let me know in the comments down below. While you're down there, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't. Thank you all who've been subscribing. The numbers are rising, and that warms my black little heart. Also, if you would like to support the Fingerdoo review a bit more, leave a comment. I love a comment, even if it's...
Salty?
Well, I don't mind salty because I just delete them.
Coming at you sideways?
Yeah, I don't care. But no, I love a comment. I love when you not only engage with me, but engage with each other. It just, it's fun to watch the community grow. But if you want to go that extra mile, you can leave a tip or do using the YouTube thanks button below this screen or my OG PayPal link in the description box down below. There's also a link to my Redbubble store. You can get a fabulous Laura D'Souza shower curtain or a t-shirt, as well as Denise Cherneau's work. Speaking of Denise Cherneau, I got a link down below also to Beauty Moon Cosmetics where you can get my fabulous makeup palette. And there's also a link to my Patreon page where the Fingerdoo family meet twice a month for live chats. Thanks for joining.
Thanks for having me.
And until next time, this is...
Do we know it's an acting challenge next week? Do we know if Carrie Colby is?
It's a musical. It's a musical with Rue. With Rue. That'll be interesting.
That'll be fun.
I feel like the strong people are definitely going to be Lydia and Tina.
It might be Georges. Georges did really well.
She didn't do bad, but she didn't do bad because Rue slapped her for the better part of 10 minutes. Yeah. And that wig did most of the acting. Fresh out of the box.
I mean, the All-Stars musical, she was amazing.
That's true. No, she was great. Yeah.
Lydia, I'm slightly concerned about because her initial
that Golden Girls was awful.
Was terrible.
Yeah. But then the next one she did was better.
Butthole to go through.
Yeah, she needs to. She has to go through.
She better go through. That's so neat.
Well.
But at least we don't have to worry about one more week of Mistress and then we're spared her for another 3 weeks.
Yes. Yeah.
So hopefully she doesn't make it through. And we don't have to deal with her for the rest of the season.
I'd rather see Georges go through, although I don't want either of them to. But, that's the road Jeho.
What did you call me?
You heard me.
I did hear you.
Yeah.
I want you to say it again.
Ho!
Stop.
Little shop of hoes.
Shop of ho.